Hey, what's up guys? Goes here in the video this time talking about Forza Horizon 5 and which cars I want to see in the game myself. So before I get into this, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment below. Without further ado, I'm going to basically say this first. It's my opinion, so these are going to be the cars that I want to see personally in Forza. It will be really fun to drive, also very unique as well. There's a few of these in here that are kind of nostalgic to me, also really light cars that aren't in Forza for some reason. So the first one is the Ram Air Firebird, aka the 2000s Firebird with the pop-ups. That thing would be awesome to see in Forza for the reason is it's basically a Camaro, but like the better Camaro in my opinion of that year. So I'm not too much a fan of a Catfish Camaro, but you guys will see later in the video something else happens. But yeah, I just feel like it would be really cool to see a Firebird more than just the 80s and 70s Firebird in Forza, because there's literally two Pontiacs in Forza, and it's kind of weird, and it's not the best, because Pontiac is a huge brand, and they just have two cars in Forza, which is insane. The next one, lead into that, is the Pontiac Grand Prix or Monte Carlo. So the reason I want to see both of these two is because the Grand Prix, it isn't necessarily a fast car, but it's a very fun car to drive, and there's a lot of tune potential in it. The Monte Carlo is basically the same thing, and I'm talking about like the 2000s Grand Prix, because they're very reliable cars. Also, they're very, popular. And yeah, so some of these also on here, I will have options for like body kits, because most of the cars that aren't represented are in the game to an extent. The next one is my personal car, a Infiniti G Sedan. Now we're gonna ignore the G25, and we're gonna go with the G35 and the G37. So, as you guys may have noticed, in Forza there's only one Infiniti. And that's the Q60 concept, which I'm driving in this video right now. But you will notice that that's the only Infiniti in the game, and I would be fine also if the G Sedans were in their Japan name, their Skyline name. It's like the Skyline 350 GT, stuff like that. 370 GT, stuff like that. It would be awesome. But I just want to see a G Sedan in there, or at least any sort of new Infinitis. And I do have another Infiniti on this list as well. And then here's one of those unique ones that would be awesome and really funny to drive around. Is the Pontiac Transport. So since we have a GMC Bandura and we have a Transit, why not just add the Pontiac Transport? Because that's a minivan and it's technically a sports car. It has sports in the name. It's very slow, but I would like to see if I can put like a V12 in that. It'd be kind of awesome and just make memes out of it. The next one is a Scion Tc. So this car is in Motorsport, Forza Motorsport. It is not in Horizon though, which I think is a crime, because in Motorsport, it's it's fine, but you can't, like, when I get a TC, I want a highway drag. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not the fastest cars. None of these are the fastest cars in the world. They're just really unique, and they would fill up the lower class of Forza. So you know how like there's the S classes and stuff like that. These cars would fill up the lower half of it, which I think is not very. There's not many cars that are in like C and D and B class. But I would like to see the TRD options with that TC as well. So the exhaust kit they can put on optionally, all the performance stuff, because Toyota had a lot of performance stuff that they had on the Scion cars that was kind of awesome, and it would be good to see that actually like showed in a game. I think Forza had some of them, but not all of them. Or Motorsport, I mean. The next one is the Toyota Matrix / Pontiac Vibe. You can kind of see where this is going for Pontiacs mainly. But the Toyota Matrix / Pontiac Vibe would be really awesome, because it's a kind of compact car, but it's decently, fast, but not too fast. Again, filling up that lower area of the basically game with some other cars. The next one is the Acura Tl. So the Acura Tl. I don't have a year for this. Any year would be fine. I just want to see a TL, because that would be awesome. It's a sedan, and you don't see many sedans that have, the power of a TL, or, yeah. So, also, I would want to see the, back to the other one. I want to see the G Sedans, or G Coupes as well. Should be awesome. The next one is the Infiniti FX35. So that is an SUV that has the same engine and the same almost looks as a G35. It's just a crossover. So it's not an SUV, it's a crossover. But I know crossovers aren't the best, but I would want to see that just to, like, you know, beef up the Infiniti line a little bit on Forza because it's an awesome brand to go with. The next one is the 2005 to 2010 Mustang. So before you guys get your pitchforks and everything, I know the 2005 Mustang is in the game. The only thing is, it's a Hot Wheels and it's a body kitted one. So it's not an actual, like, Mustang. It's a modded Mustang. I want to see the stock Mustang in the game of that year, because we have the 2000s and then it goes to 2013, and I'm like, something's missing here. Something is missing. And I know people don't like the 2005 to 2010 Mustangs, but I really do. They're really great looking cars. And people say they look too beefy, and I'm like, they look muscly. That's what a muscle car is, you know? The next one is a Catfish Camaro. So yeah, I told you guys in the first of the list that we would go through this. So the Catfish Camaro, like, it's pretty cool. I don't have much experience with them. I would like to see it in the game because other people like that car a lot. I, however, like the 2008 or 2007 Camaro better, but the Catfish Camaro is pretty cool as well. That's all I have to say for that. The next one is one that was in Forza Horizon 3, but got removed in Forza Horizon 4 for some reason. It is the Plymouth Prowler, the cheese mobile, basically. And I want to see that because it was a really fun car to drive and really kind of meme car to drive. But that would be awesome to see. The next one is a Pontiac Gto. So not the older one, but the 2000s one. Now I'm gonna offer a option here for, you know, if you want to customize it, because this would be awesome to see. Is seeing different cars like the Pontiacs that were Holdens, because we have a Holdens in the game. They're the same car, just Pontiacified. I would like to see just a body kit for the Monero, which is the GTO, but in Australia. I want to see a body kit for that for the GTO, like a just front bumper kit, basically wheel option, spoiler. That's about it. That's literally the only differences. Of course, there's differences inside, but you could just get a body kit and make it look like a Pontiac. The next one is also the same sort of thing. It's a Pontiac G8. So that is also something I want to see, but in all honesty, it's just a body kit for a Commodore, a Holden Commodore, which is kind of weird, but that's literally what it is. So I would just want to see a body kit for that. The next one is a kind of funny one as well. There's a few of them that are a little bit slower on here. The Scion Xb. So the Scion Xb would be awesome to see in this game, for the fact that it's kind of a meme car. It's a box car. It's like a better version of the Kia Soul. Not a huge amount of difference between the Kia Soul and that, but it's just, in my opinion, it's a lot better of a car and a lot better built than Kias. I've had a bad record with Kias, so. The next one is, I'm gonna do my boy Drew and Solar. If you guys in the comments, go ahead and comment, because I am doing the Pontiac Aztec. So the Pontiac Aztec is a very hated car, but it has a cult following now. I feel like now would be a perfect time to add in a Pontiac Aztec. They did it in Motorsport as well, but Motorsport, you know, it's fine, but I want to see more cars from Motorsport in Horizon, because that would be awesome. In Horizon, it's just like supercars and stuff, and it's basically a S1 and an S2 class and X class. That's what everyone drives. No one drives anything less than that, which is kind of sad, because like those under cars are very awesome. So I just said no, sorry. The next one is the Nissan Maxima 20th Anniversary Edition. So that's my uncle actually had one of these. It's a 2000 Maxima. Had a V6 in it. It also was pretty powerful for what it was. It was at the level of my G35 outside, which is actually surprising for a everyday car. And I want to see that because there's not really there's not an Ultima in the game, but the Maxima is like more of a sporty option. So I feel like if they're doing any Nissan that's not as sporty, that would be the one that would go with. And then for the Infinitis, I would go with the other one as well. The next one is the Mitsubishi Eclipse. So we already have a couple Eclipses in the game. We have the 1990s Eclipses, and that's about it. So I would want to see the 2000s, like 2003, and the 2012s, like 2010 ones. That would be kind of awesome, because that would just be one of the best, like not the best years, but it would be one of the ones that's, I think they look really good. They're not the most reliable, but I think they look really awesome. And that's just one of the things I want to see. I would also want to see the Mitsubishi early years of the 3000 GT or the GTO. I know they like to have these as European names on cars for some reason in Forza, probably because the company is European. But the 1990, 1994, 1995, those are all the GTO or 3000 GT that no one knows about that plays Forza. Those cars are very legendary. My uncle actually has one of those as well, which is awesome. Different uncle from my Nissan uncle, but yeah. The next one is the Mercury Marauder. I believe that's what it's called. It's the Crown Vic, but it is it's the Mercury version of it that has the V8 in it. So it's literally just a Mercury one, and it's so unassuming. Like the Crown Vic in this game, you could also get a body kit for that as well. That would make sense if you could just like replace the emblem on the front. That would be kind of awesome for some of these because they're very similar. But just like the front bumper or whatever, that would be awesome if you could do that to certain cars, just to make them slightly different brand, because they're the same car just under the same branch and everything like that. The next one is the 2000s Lexus IS, so that's the turbo, I believe, with the 2JZ and stuff like that. So they had it in Need for Speed Most Wanted. It was a starter car in there, so obviously it's going to be enough for Forza, because Forza has really slow cars in it sometimes. As I said, they have like the older ones, but they're missing like a lot of the 2000s cars for some reason. That's about it. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave that subscribe and comment below. If you guys do also want to follow my Instagram, it's listed below. You can see a lot of pictures in this video here. Also, I post daily updates on there as well. I also have a TikTok if you guys want to follow that as well. And yeah, I hope you guys do enjoy, and I'll try to do more of these videos future on, or from the future on, whatever. But yeah, make sure to stay tuned with my friends.